Ricky Starks, the guy that gets compared to The Rock, aka The Pebble, aka the not so great one, is wondering why he cannot get on AEW television while also praising CM Punk. Well, Ricky, you might have just answered your own question. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Wrestling. Ricky Starks lately sat down with Walt Culture to talk about his AEW career, or should I say, lack of AEW career. Where the hell is Ricky Starks? Nobody knows. Apparently he got injured 3 months ago. He said he wasn't injured. He has not been seen since. And then he went and doubled down. So it's one thing maybe calling out AEW. It's one thing calling out Tony Khan as to why you're not being booked, as to why you're not being used. But then he went and done probably the worst thing that he could do in AEW. He praised, he put over, he defended CM Punk. So we'll talk about what Ricky Starks said about CM Punk first, and then we'll move on to what he said about his AEW opportunities that he hasn't received in for God knows how long now, and could he be WWE bound? So Ricky Starks, when talking to Walt Culture, he actually went on to describe CM Punk as a great dude when he was talking about how Punk contributed to his career, especially in the early episodes of AEW Collision. So this is what Ricky Starks had to say. Quote, Punk was very instrumental in my presentation on Collision. There's a video clip that constantly gets reshared where the pyro is going off and exploding. That was all Punk's idea. Punk had a vision for trying to help a certain people and getting along. I do remember a conversation where he's like, it's really up to you, sink or swim. And I felt like I put a lot of stress and pressure on myself to constantly outperform my last match that I just had, to prove that if he was going to put his name on me, so to speak, or be the one to push for me, that I needed to do my part and make sure that I never let that down. It's those things Punk was very instrumental in making sure, like, hey, we should try to do something different with this dude. And I think Punk is the only one that was closest to really understanding me in that regard. I have no issues with Punk. I don't give a fuck what anybody tries to tell me. I don't care. He has never done me wrong, and you can have your opinions on him, but you shouldn't vilify someone for thinking differently than you. End of quote. So Ricky Starks suggesting that Punk was trying to help him, that Punk was trying to do things differently. Basically saying here that Punk gets Ricky Starks more than anybody else in AEW. Is that a shot at the bookers? Is that a shot at Tony Khan? I mean, potentially, but Ricky Starks here saying that nobody outside of Punk has really understood him or has really tried to get him over or do anything for his character or his career. And then he went on to basically say that he's no issues with Punk and he doesn't care about what anybody in AEW, whether it be Khan, the Elite, or any of those guys think or whatever they say about CM Punk. They've tried to paint Punk in a negative light, but Ricky Starks isn't going to have that because Punk's done nothing wrong to him, and the only thing Punk maybe does from other people is think differently, something I guess you're not allowed to do in AEW. And then when he went on to speak about his wrestling and why he's not wrestling, this is what he said. He was asked, will he be a part of AEW Double or Nothing? And this is what Ricky Starks replied with. Quote, I don't know. I would hope so, but I really don't know. Things are, every time I always predict something to go some way, it doesn't go that way. And it kind of just leaves me being like, well, we'll just figure it out and see. I really have no clue. It's just a very interesting time. I feel like I wish that I was on Dynamite, or I wish that I was on Dynasty. I wish I was on these things, but I think at a certain point, just for my own sanity, I can't go too crazy about it, because the proof is in my work and my effort that I've constantly given. I've constantly given 1,000 effort, so that at this point, it's not in my control. And I think that's the biggest lesson I have. Things are just not in my control, but the things that are in my control, I try my hardest with. I'm not hurt. even that night on AEW Collision, I specifically stated, hey, I'm not hurt. I was just being cautious about it because at the moment, I didn't know what was happening, especially with this side of my body. So I wasn't hurt. I was never put on an injury list or anything like that. I have no answers. People ask me all the time, well, why aren't you? I don't know. I have no clue. That isn't up to me. It does suck, obviously, to not be on TV, but the support and people online and people sending me messages is very, very sweet and endearing and very encouraging from that standpoint. End of quote. So, interesting here that Ricky Starks is talking about how he is ready to wrestle, he's available to wrestle, he's injury free, but for some reason he's just not been put on TV. He's not been given an opportunity, he's not been given matches, and for what reason is that? I mean, we don't know. I mean, Ricky Starks for me is one of the better guys in AEW. He feels like a homegrown talent almost. You know, they did put a few years into Ricky Starks. I believed that he had potential to go on and become a world champion in AEW. He looked like possibly one of the next breakout guys, but I mean, for whatever reason, it just hasn't really happened. I don't think him getting paired with Big Bill was great. That pretty much went nowhere. And then ever since his injury, or lack of injury, as Ricky Starks calls it, he's done nothing. You know, he's literally been just doing absolutely hee-haw. No promos, no in-ring time, no nothing. I don't recall the last time he was promoted. I don't recall the last time even seeing him. I mean, he might be on the entrance video, like the intro package, but even then, I'm pretty sure that got changed up. It's just the Elite now. So, yeah, I mean, it does suck. I think you look at Ricky Starks, and he's a hell of a lot better than some of the other fucking bums in AEW, yet this guy can't get a chance. This guy can't get an opportunity. Is it because he doesn't kiss ass? Is it because he likes CM Punk? I mean, who knows? If Ricky Stark came out and if he bashed CM Punk, if he came out and he called CM Punk this and that, and he kissed up to the Bucks and the Elite and Tony Khan, if he did what FTR did and just basically sold their souls to try and put over this shit show of a company, then maybe he'd be wrestling next week. Maybe he would be on Double or Nothing. But as the things stand right now, he's not. He's not on anything. Maybe he's on WWE's radar. Maybe Ricky Starks could go to WWE. Why not? There's nothing happening for him in AEW. I think the guy would make a good addition to WWE. I like him. I can see why people compare him to The Rock. You know, he's got something. You look at wrestlers that have potential. People look at LA Knight. LA Knight looks like a star, very well spoken, charismatic, energetic. You know, you look at LA Knight, you see something in LA Knight. And I feel the same with Ricky Starks. I look at Ricky Starks and I see something. He's not the biggest guy, but he's got an okay body. He's got decent like definition. He's got enough muscle and stuff like that. You look at Ricky Starks and you're thinking, well, why can't this guy be pushed when you've got bums like fucking Eddie Kingston on the roster? So yeah, I see no reason why Ricky Starks can't be pushed in a main event role, whether it be in AEW or WWE. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully he does go to WWE because it doesn't look like anything's going to happen with him in AEW. Anyway, guys, that's it. Let me know your thoughts down below on Ricky Starks. Are you a fan of Ricky Starks? What do you think of Ricky Starks? I don't think he's fantastic by any means, but he's certainly, I think, one of the better guys in AEW, and it's now very strange that he isn't getting shown. But now, apparently, we've found out he's a CM Punk fan, so there you go. I mean, that could very well be the reason. Anyway, guys, that's it. Catch you in the next one. Till then, peace.